Hey, what's up everyone? The Dan Sandwich here, and today we're back in automation and BeamNG.drive, and today we are looking at another one of the cars that I built in automation, and this one is something that I feel like should exist in real life, but doesn't, probably for obvious reasons. But never mind that. Automation lets us kind of build our dreams, and today I wanted to take a look at this car here, which is my interpretation of a off-road muscle car. So my inspiration for this was a little while ago. There was like a render going around the internet, and you probably still find it, obviously. Somebody designed a Ford Mustang Raptor to be like an off-road version of the Mustang, and that was kind of the inspiration that I drew on for this car here. This one being branded with my DSM brand, which is Dan Sandwich Motors, same as the last car that I showed off, the DSM-10, which is my idea of a supercar. But this one is obviously again like a off-road muscle car, and of course I drew a lot of inspiration on the Mustang, but kind of took my own little twist on it as well. But you can kind of tell, you got like this off-roady style front bumper, lifted suspension. You got a step on the side to get in more easily. I'm really pretty happy with this design. We got like the big over fenders, and then you've got mud flaps like any good off-roader should have. I call it the Stampede. It's not a Mustang, it's a Stampede. And the trim level is adventure, so it, to kind of give the idea of an adventurous off-roader sort of thing. But yeah, I feel like this is the kind of car that should be being built in real life. You got a lot of people really interested in off-roaders right now with the Ford Bronco, of course, and the Jeep Wrangler has always been a popular vehicle. Making a muscle car that can go off-road would be pretty cool. Of course, I'm sure it wouldn't be very financially viable, which is why we can make it in automation. A couple other details I just wanted to highlight real quick. We got this really nice big vent on the hood to feed this naturally aspirated V8 with 490 horsepower. It's a 5.2 liter. Again, drew a lot of inspiration on the Mustang here for that as well. You got these lights up top that are functional as well. That light up to give you a lot more illumination when you are on the trail and you need to be able to see what's in front of you. So that works the way it should. I like these louvers on the rear window. Again, very Mustang-esque. Got a little bit of a spoiler. Again, this rear bumper kind of lifted it right off the Mustang as well. But I chose this body as well because it's a little bit more flowy, a little bit more rounded, kind of reminiscent of the modern Mustang, the one that is coming out now. Because there is another body style in the game that is very much like the kind of mid-2000s Mustang that's a lot more angular and aggressive. I like this one a little better. It's maybe a little bit more cutesy, but it still, has a sporty vibe for sure. Interior, again, I just kind of did like a quick rough interior, much like I did with the supercar that I built. This, much like the Mustang, is a 2x2, a 2+2 seater. So you got the two front seats and then really tiny back seats. Not really a place where you would want to actually sit. As you can see, there's no leg room, but that is very realistic to a muscle car as well. And again, I just used a bunch of pre-made pieces for here just to have something on the interior so it's not an empty void. But I am really happy with the way these seats turned out, using the matching body color for the trim around the seats. I think it gives it a really cool look as well. Going back to that engine, again, this is a naturally aspirated V8. It is a 5.2 liter, making 490 horsepower at 6,300 RPM. Yeah, I'm really happy with this engine. I think it works really, really well in this car. It's not the crazy, like, 750 horsepower like Raptor R engine, or the GT 350R Mustang or whatever, the GT500 I mean, Mustang engine, but we don't have superchargers in the game quite yet, so I will kind of probably revisit this vehicle as well once we get to the supercharger update when that does come out. I also made it rear-wheel drive and a 6-speed manual to keep the kind of muscle car driving experience. You want rear-wheel drive, you want a 6-speed manual. That you know, kind of stays in line with that. Again, maybe once that supercharger update comes out, I'll revisit this and give it a, you know, a really big 750 horsepower supercharged V8, and then maybe I'll probably have to give it all-wheel drive at that point to make it more viable. But you know, I am really happy with this car. Once again, this one is a ton of fun to drive off-road. One other thing I'm also really happy with, it's a nearly perfect 50-50 weight distribution, just a little bit biased towards the rear, but that really gives it a nice handling feel, especially when you're going off-road. Really predictable driving there as well. So yeah, let's take it into BeamNG.drive and see how this performs off-road, and then of course we'll take it to the track just like we do all the cars here as well, to see how it competes with the cars we've tested already. Again, this is quite a bit lower end than a race car and a supercar, but you know, just to keep things consistent, we're going to test them all out the same way. All right, here we are again in BeamNG.drive, but we are not at the regular automation test track. We are at the off-road circuit, which I thought would be a fitting place to give this thing a drive around. Unfortunately, the decal I put on the side is kind of low res in BeamNG.drive. I don't know if that's just because of my settings that I have the game on, so I can run it properly. But yeah, you know, it's things aren't always going to carry over into BeamNG the way that they should. But you know, here we are. Let's give this a little run around the off-road circuit and listen to that V8. Oh yeah, I love to hear that. Really sounding like a proper muscle car. And we are kind of tearing it uphill here. This thing is just really fun to throw around. There's an off-road drive mode, which is cool, and that's what we're currently in. And I thought that, you know, made sense. But really, you can really just throw the tail out whenever you want, and then just put your foot to the ground, and it does a really good job powering through. I wonder if that's related to that 50-50 weight distribution. Oh, as I run right into the fence that I was talking about earlier. But yeah, this car really does perform really nicely off-road. Despite it being rear-wheel drive, I really thought that would kind of hamper this car's usability off-road, but honestly, it feels really, really fun to throw around. Now, this isn't the only off-road muscle car that has ever existed. Not that this actually exists. I know that it's not a real car in real life, but you know, of course, there is the Local Motors Rally Fighter, but that one was, you know, kind of a custom job thing someone built kind of in their shed or whatever, you know, using a bunch of borrowed parts. This would be a cool idea if someone actually took a production stab at an off-road muscle car. That was kind of the vibe that I wanted to get off there. Really handle those rocks, no problem. So yeah, this is a pretty capable off-roader, while also providing quite a bit of sports pedigree as well. And you know, the Stampede model, maybe I will revisit as well and make an actual regular road car as well. But I really wanted to kind of focus on making stuff that's a little bit more unique, stuff that you actually don't see in real life. And that was kind of the impetus. Oh, roll it over quite a bit. And okay, we're okay. It's still drivable. You know, of course, that's the one thing you have to keep in mind with any lifted vehicle like this, is it's gonna roll. It's gonna roll again. And you know, that's fine. As you can see, it handles that really well as well. So no trouble there. After a couple of rollovers, it still drives just fine, actually. As I run into another tree again. My favorite thing to do with this thing is actually to take it to some big sand dunes and get it off some big jumps. So that's what we're gonna do right now in the Stampede. All right, we're at Johnson Valley at the Dune Kicker base camp. Oh man, I just love the way that V8 sounds. Really, where this car thrives in these desert situations. So let's just head out in a random direction and hit the trail and just see how this thing does. Oh, nice big jump there. This off-road suspension handling it perfectly. A little bit of a slide there, but controlled it no trouble whatsoever. I mean, I gotta admit, this thing is just so much fun to toss around. You know, as much fun as the last two cars that I built were, the, you know, more race-focused, track-oriented cars. This one might be even more fun, just because you can really throw it around. You know, off-roading in this game is so much fun as well, especially this big open Johnson Valley map. There's just so much fun off-road trails to kind of tackle as well. Oh yeah, no trouble whatsoever. Yeah, this thing just it just performs really nicely off-road, and my first attempt at building like an off-roader, and I think I did a pretty good job. Another big jump here, an even bigger jump. Oh yeah, yeah. This thing is it's just fun to drive. You even do some off-road burnouts in third gear, it looks like. Yeah. This thing is just so much fun. Oh, and another rollover, and it rolls over quite a bit. So yeah, you just gotta be aware, it's gonna roll over. But, you know, it's an off-roader, so that does happen. But anyway, now that we've kind of proven this thing's off-road credentials, just by driving it around, I'm going to take it to the automation test track once again and put a lap down, or 2 laps down, as I normally do for these testing situations, to see how this handles on a track. All right, before we get to the regular racetrack, we're going to tackle the gravel circuit, because again, this is an off-road vehicle, and I feel like that would be appropriate for it. And any other off-road vehicles that I will make, I will run it through the same gravel circuit as well. But because of the off-road nature of this car, I thought it'd be good to try it out here first. All right, so let's see what kind of time I can put down on the gravel circuit in this off-road muscle car. Through the first gate sideways, just like it should be. Oh, and I roll it over immediately. All right. Well, let's try this again. All right. Let's attempt number 2 at the gravel circuit. Let's try not to roll it over immediately. Really gotta be... Oh my god! I did it again. Alright. Can I learn from my mistakes? But really just be careful not to go too far the inside of these turns, because they'll roll you over. No trouble. No trouble at all. Pulling the handbrake a little bit here. You really can just drive this thing like a rally car for the most part. Of course, it's rear-wheel drive, so most modern rally cars are all-wheel drive, but this thing really does handle... Oh, man! Little squirrely there. Oh, okay. This isn't going to be the best time I can put down, I'm sure of it. But we didn't roll over, so I'm going to keep going with this one. Again, this is not designed to win any rally stages. It's really just meant to be like a fun thing that you can bring off-road. All right. Maybe I need to get better at being a rally driver. We got 1 lap in with no real issues. Maybe if I talk less, I will do better. Ugh. Alright, one lap in. Flying over the start-finish line there. Slamming on the brakes. A little early, I think, but I don't want to roll it over again. Stay clear of that inside bump. Handbrake turn up here. I'll get the front wheels off the ground a little bit, but I definitely cut that turn a lot, but it's okay. I stayed within the track for the most part. This is a tight, pretty scary straightaway there with that cliff directly to your right there. Oh yeah, this is a much better time this time, and I didn't roll it over, I didn't crash in a 2:08.246. So that'll be a good time, I think. Full disclosure, this 2 weeks ago one was when I tested this car the first time I built it. So quite a bit faster than that time as well. So yeah, any other off-roading vehicles I end up making, I will take into this test track as well. But let's take it to the regular test track and see how it performs in that type of situation. All right, we're going to the racetrack circuit in the DSM Stampede Adventure trim level. These are the times we're competing with from the Lego race car and the DSM 10620/4. Probably won't reach those low times because this is a off-road vehicle and a muscle car, and it's quite a bit slower than those two. But I thought it'd be fun to throw this thing around the track to see how it performs. We are in sport mode. Not flying off the line there, but we are on like off-road tires. So yeah, this is going to be quite a bit different than the off-road test in a lifted muscle car. But still pretty quick around that turn there. I had the throttle almost completely planted there as well. So it does hold its own fairly well on the roads as well. A little slow through there, but not necessarily bad. It was smooth. I didn't spin out or anything, so that's not bad. Alright, let's open it up on the straightaway. We're already at 90 miles an hour. Let's see how quick this thing can go in a straight line. Up to 155 before I step on the brakes. That's pretty good for an off-roader. Can you imagine going 155 miles an hour and you're, you know, 3 feet off the ground or whatever? That would probably be pretty terrifying. Oh, man. Alright, now we're doing some off-roading. I'm gonna keep it going, though. Obviously not supercar brakes in this thing. I've just got standard, like piston brakes or whatever. I think, no, they're vented disc brakes. What am I talking about? Still pretty quick around that sweeping left-hand turn there. This remains fairly planted despite the increased ride height. Alright, keep it on the track this time. Onto the final turn of the first lap. And it only went off track once, which is impressive for what's basically a Mustang. Alright, stomp on the brakes here for the first chicane. This thing's even fun to drive on the track, honestly. Like, I'm surprised that an off-road car like this is as fun to drive on the track as this is. That was a much better line that time. Back onto the straightaway here. Man, this thing's quick. Almost got to 160 that time before I started slowing down. To be able to take this turn better now that I know what I'm going to do here. Oh, still too fast. Still too fast, but that's okay. Again, what are we expecting from an off-roader? I'm not the Stig. I'm not going to drive these cars perfectly every time. Especially since I didn't do a warm-up lap of the track, so I kind of went at this a little bit blind. Oh, stepping out there. See all that body roll as I'm coming out of that turn there? Yeah, this thing would probably be terrifying to drive on the track with how much the body is shifting from side to side and the speeds it's able to reach. Onto the final turn here and the final straightaway. And across the line with a time of 4:50.566. So obviously not going to be as fast as those, you know, again, there's a race car and a supercar on this list. So I'm not sure how that time exactly stacks up. But for an off-roader, 4:50, I think that's going to be a pretty decent time. Of course, time will only tell as we start testing more cars that I build in automation. But honestly, like I said, a pretty decent driving car for the racetrack situation. But let's see how quickly it can accelerate off the line in a drag race. All right, here we are at the West Coast USA drag strip. Once again, just like usual, we are going to be racing up against the same cars, so things are even. A lot of lift as I accelerate there. So let's stage it here. Wow, why is my computer chugging so hard? All right, let's go. Off the line. Pretty quick to accelerate there. The AI is shifting faster than I can, though. And we're going to lose to the AI, but we're going to put up an 11.5 second quarter mile time. So that's pretty good. I mean, even though we lost the AI. 11.5 in an off-roader, especially rear-wheel drive and all that, that's really good. So I'm pretty happy with that. Despite losing in that race, I only lost by 1/10 of a second. I think they were just able to shift a little bit faster than I was, but still, 11.5 seconds, 124 miles an hour in the quarter mile. I'm pretty happy with that for being an off-roader. So let's see how well this thing can escape the cops. All right, here we are back on the highway, past the front gate a little bit. And we spawn the traffic and the cops, and we're gonna see once again how far I can get, or how long I can survive, more correctly. How long I can survive the cops and traffic trying to chase me in this off-road muscle car, of course. So we're going to start the timer, unpause the game, and see how long we can survive, just like we did in the other cars I tested. Timer started, unpause, and I'm off. Got a bunch of cars right off the bat. I have to maneuver around, but they were pretty slow, so that wasn't really much trouble, especially for this big V8 powered muscle car. Oh man, they're setting up some roadblocks, it looks like. They're turning around, coming back for me. Still so far so good. Oh man. It's getting a little bit wobbly at high speeds. Oh man, I just barely avoided a crash there. So far we beat out the Lego race car successfully. Coming up to a turn here. Oh man. Can we beat the supercar I built? Looks like yeah, I'm already past that. Into, oh, the tunnel there. That wasn't really my fault necessarily. Well, it was perfectly my fault, but we're still driving, so I'm gonna keep going here, avoiding some more traffic. Alright, so far so good. Little drift around this sweeping turn here. Maybe that big front bumper helped me survive that crash with little to no consequences. Oh man, we're past we're almost at a minute and a half now. Although they've been kind of easy to avoid, I'm gonna be honest. They've just kind of been slowly turning around as I've been getting close. So it hasn't really been much of a problem, honestly. That guy's just doing a burnout there. Oh man, okay, so I got hit there. Took off a piece of my fender, but no big deal. Still moving. I probably should have timed the DSM-10 based off of how long it could actually survive, because I did keep driving quite a bit after I got into a wreck. Alright, still good, moving on. Past 2 minutes now. Doing some crafty maneuvering right there as well. Oh, this cop's coming for me, but I avoid him. Some more roadblocks being set up. This thing is surprisingly nimble for the fact that it's an off-roader. Get back into this tunnel here. I don't see any cars. There's one right there. There's another. Couple little maneuvers here. Okay, didn't need that mirror anyway. Oh, alright. Oh, okay. Ooh. I think it helps in the little bit slower cars too to control things. Oh, a little bit of a scrape there, but it's still getting by. Still no serious damage to like the suspension or anything like that. Although now it's starting to turn on its own a little bit here. I think I must have messed up the front left wheel a little bit. Oh yeah, as you can see, it's not quite doing what it should be, but I'm still driving it. 4 minutes now, jeez. Oh, and yeah, that's probably gonna be. Oh, still going, still going. Bum me around quite a bit there. Oh man. Definitely becoming a lot harder to control now as the damage becomes a little bit more severe. Definitely not going as fast either. Oh, are we stopped? Oh! Alright, I think that's gonna be it right there. I think it was like 4:45. That's gonna be a tough time to beat. Are we stopped? Oh! I think. Not paying attention as this old police car came the other way. Yeah, like 4:45 or so. Obviously, once I edit it, I'll know the exact time. But that was quite the run out of this off-roader. So the last thing that we have to do is take this to the car jump arena and see how far it can fly. All right, here we are at the car jump arena for the final test of today in the DSM Stampede Adventure, this off-road muscle car that I built. Pretty impressive so far, honestly. You know, did pretty well at basically everything. So we might have like a really, you know, all-around versatile car here. But let's see how far this thing can fly. So let's go. Roll over the crest here. See how quick we can get it going here. This thing is fast. Oh man. Oh man, up to 185 off the jump. Gonna go into a full backflip? No, it flips back around. And we're gonna land past the 500 mark to about 550 maybe? Man, this thing really flew. And oh, almost landed in the pool, but it bounced right out. Wow, this thing really flew. 180 miles an hour off the jump. That's insane for a lifted sports car. Let's try that again. Let's just see if that was a fluke or if we can get going any faster. I didn't even slow down at all going to the crest there. Just full out. This thing is so fast. 185 that time. Another almost full backflip. And yeah, that was no fluke. About the 550 mark or so. As it flips past the pool. Past the podium. Down the road here. Alright, time for a quick recap how the DSM Stampede Adventure did on the test today. So it's the first car we've taken around the gravel circuit, so it doesn't really have any competition, but puts down a time of 2:08.246. On the automation test track, it ended up in third at 4:50.566, about a minute behind the other cars we tested. It was also not quite as fast as those in general. At the drag strip, it put down an impressive 11.5 second quarter mile. And it really excelled at escaping from the police with a ridiculous 4 minutes and 44.59 seconds. Tremendously better at surviving the police than the other cars we tested already. And at the car jump arena, it put down a very impressive 550, I think it's meters at the car jump arena. Landing right in between the two other cars we tested so far. So that's crazy. So yeah, this thing is fast. It is great off-road. It's good on the track. It's good on the drag strip. It can avoid the cops. It can fly off a jump really far. This is a really good car, if I say so myself. Let's go off the jump here again. I'm just gonna take it into a 360 like it did the supercar I built to see how that goes. But yeah, of course, if you are interested in trying this thing out for yourself, nice little flat spin there. If you're interested in checking this thing out for yourself, I'm going to put the download link in the description, just like I have done with the last few cars. And you can try it out for yourself in BeamNG.drive. Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a really fun car to build and test. And if you want to see more stuff like this, a subscription to this channel would be really cool. We are nearly, I say we, but it's just me here. I'm nearly at 50 subscribers, which would be really, really cool if we could get there. I know, that probably doesn't matter to any of you, but I like seeing that nice like round number of 50. Of course, if you want to keep subscribing after 50, that'd be even better. But for now, we're going to end it here, and I will see you in the next video.